Hi, Gerardo Perez here with GP Accounting and Tax Services, coming to you from our office in Hayward, California. Today we'll be covering the 5 filing statuses that you can select from when completing your 2016 income tax return. So the first filing status that we'll be covering is head of household. Second will be married filing jointly. Third will be married filing separately. Fourth will be qualifying widower with a dependent. And the fifth filing status that we'll be covering today is the single filing status. So jumping right into it, in general, your filing status depends on whether or not you are married or unmarried at the end of the tax year. So the first filing status is head of household, and for an individual to claim the head of household filing status for 2016, 3 requirements must be met. The first requirement is that you are unmarried or considered unmarried at the end of the tax year. The second requirement is that you paid more than half the cost for keeping up a home for the year. The third is that a qualifying person lived with you for more than half the year, except for temporary absences such as school. However, if the qualifying person is your qualifying parent, then they are not obligated to live with you in order for the taxpayer to select the head of household filing status. So the second filing status we're covering today is married filing jointly. So in order to qualify for the married filing jointly filing status, you have to be married at the end of the 2016 tax year, and you and your spouse have to agree with one another to file a joint return. And if you guys do in fact agree to file a joint return with one another, your income as well as your allowable expenses will be combined and reported on your U.S. individual 1040 income tax return. Also, if you or your spouse did not work for the 2016, you guys still can file a 2016 joint return, even if one or the other worked throughout 2016. The next filing status is married filing separately. So in order to qualify for the married filing separately filing status, you and your spouse have to agree to not file a joint return. So one would want to not file a joint return with their spouse if they only want to be responsible for their own tax, or if the tax impact would be less by filing a separate return. So now going into the qualified widower with the dependent filing status. This is a little bit more complicated. So if your spouse died in 2016, you can use a married filing jointly filing status as the status you select for the year in which your spouse passed away. So for example, if your spouse passed away in 2015, then in 2015 you will select the married filing jointly filing status, and you will be entitled to the standard deduction for a married couple as well as the exemptions for a married couple. But in 2016 and 2017 you will be able to file the qualified widower filing status, which will also entitle you to the higher standard deduction as well as the higher exemption amount. So the last filing status is the single filing status. So you select a single filing status when you do not qualify for any of the other filing statuses. So that's pretty much the simplest filing status to select if you don't qualify for head of household, married filing jointly, married filing separately, or qualified widower with a dependent. Then you just go ahead and select the single filing status. So that's what we're covering today in our video. We'll come to you next Wednesday with what a dependent is, who qualifies as a qualifying person to select the head of household filing status, what is a qualifying parent, and the standard deduction and exemption amounts for the individuals that you claim on your tax return. So I'm saying good night to you, and please subscribe below. Also, if you would like to email me, my email address is gerardo.perez@gpaccountingandtax.com. Feel free to send me an email to schedule an appointment or to just ask me any tax questions that you may have. I also posted links down below that will take you directly to the IRS website, where you can find more detail on the 5 filing statuses. We briefly covered them here, but again, if you would like a little more detail on each of the 5 filing statuses, feel free to click the links below. Have a great evening, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.